This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's live podcast series, The Weekly Séance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. If this is your first time, please click subscribe, like, and share on the YouTube channel. You can also listen to us on listen to this show on Libsyn, which we've just changed over, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and soon Apple Podcast. But before we start, we do have a sponsor this evening, and one of our first sponsors for the show. So let me get it up here. See, I need more notes and more notes. I put my phone away, but let's see. See, that's what happens. You weren't prepared, but I'm not as prepared as you were. So anyway, let's go here. So, are you having credit issues? That's a conscious thing that we should all be conscious of. Most credit repair companies can raise your score over a period of 2 to 3 years. Why wait that long? Call Tom from National Consulting Group. Raises your scores in 30 to 60 days. He uses a two-pronged method that works every time. His clients include everyone from NFL players to politicians. Give him a call today for a free consultation. 561-510-5765, and I promise you'll be thrilled with his results. Let me see here. I gotta switch to so many different screens here. But tonight we have a community leader, a teacher, a light worker, and author. Based on 15 years of commitment to helping abused children, in 2000, Ishwari was recognized as Woman of the Year by the American Cancer Society. In 98, she was named Woman of Substance and Style by the Fort Lauderdale Philharmonic Society. In 2003, Ishwari was awarded the Hispanic Woman of Distinction Award. Reflective of her global consciousness, Ishwari is fluent in 5 languages: English, Spanish, Hebrew, Italian, and French. A leading spiritual teacher, she has earned the experienced registered yoga teacher, teaching yoga and meditation to the loyal following of 25 years. Ishwari is further contributing to raising consciousness of humanity by her service as an inspirational speaker and by leading healing groups, soul retrieval sessions, and other spiritual workshops. Tonight, I introduce the one, the only, Ishwari. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with all our beautiful kindred spirits all over the globe. It's truly an honor to be here with you and to share this passion of mine that is consciousness. So your radio show is just perfect because it's exactly we're all collectively sharing this beautiful gift of consciousness.
That's what we're all about. We're trying to wake up the masses and get people involved to understanding who they are, what they are, and what our power is, and regaining our power. That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I played too many hats in this lifetime. But thank you for the introduction and thank you to the sponsors. Very excited to be here. We all have this intuitive, blessed soul, and each one of us has a lot of gifts. How we play it and how we act upon it is a divine right. For myself, I wanted to, before we have people asking for questions, so you have many questions to ask me, I wanted to share something very interesting. I'm a healing touch practitioner for 25 years experience and a Reiki master and a yoga instructor. My goal was to keep on awakening to the divine so I could be a clear channel to help people awaken their divine purpose on earth. The goal of any spiritual work is truly meditation. You have to quiet that monkey mind,
Yeah.
But through hands-on healing, I started hearing and seeing all kind of information. for many years, which for my clients it was a blessing. But then something really interesting happened. 4 o'clock in the morning, I was waking up at all these voices and stuff, and people, believe me, they're not ghosts. It's just kinder spirits who are saying, "Hey, listen, there's something for you to learn or to share upon." I used to call them just elders or brotherhood of light. Probably some of you have heard that terms, right? Or just kinder spirits or source. Anyway, so for about 15 years, I took notes, automatic writing, and I couldn't even read my handwriting. It was like in tongues, you know.
Yeah.
So then I will go when I wake up to the computer and try to decipher because you don't remember this stuff. And then slowly, I understood what was the process, you know. So all of that led me to really step forward into what we call Akashic Records.
Yeah. And a lot of people, and for those people who don't know, I mean, I wouldn't say I first learned about it, but it's been many years since I first heard about it when I started studying Edgar Cayce's work.
Of course.
And for those listeners out there that don't know what the Akashic Records is, could you explain it a little bit to them?
Yes, of course. Well, Edgar Cayce was a true channel, one of the first ones that he will pick up all kind of information. So imagine the records, it's a record of information that belongs to your soul. It's a collective. Whereas it's not in this dimension where we live, that is the third dimension. It's too heavy to tap into that. Then you have the angelic realm, then you have higher where you have masters so-called like Buddha, like Mary, Melchizedek, El Moria, so many, my God. There are thousands and thousands of true masters out there. Some of them live in a physical body, many didn't. So the Akashic Records is the correct recollection of your soul for many, many lifetimes. It's also the word Akasha. It means like cosmic flow in Sanskrit. So Akasha is something that it was used in Lemurian, Atlantis, Egyptian, so many other cultures have the same interest of using the same word to call something that they were trying to interpret Akashic Records. So in order to access an Akashic Records, there are different ways of doing it, you know. It's a higher dimension. Let's say your crown chakra, let's talk about just basic 7 chakras. But the Akashic Records is 10, 11, 12, like alpha, omega, Christ consciousness chakras that, you know, there is a different frequency. And then when the records are open through a prayer, you have to ask a prayer that you repeat out loud 3 times with the name, with the birthright of the person. And automatically there's a shift of energy where you feel around here like a little bit of heaviness in your temples, in your head, and you feel that you're aware, but you're very much alert. So you hear and see different information.
Yeah.
Now the key, very important, is that when you have that higher vibration, it has a frequency and it has a color, you know, it's very, very bright. The tendency is for me to close my eyes, but you're not supposed to close your eyes. You're supposed to be very aware because otherwise I go into a trance. And I'm just in the middle. Like I hear like, beloved one, or greetings, dear one, how can we assist you? And when I hear that phrase, I know that it's not my intellect, it's not my ego, it's not my mind. It's direct from source, God creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is. When did this all start for you? When you started working with the Ascended Masters and tapping into the Akashic Records?
Okay. When I started doing hands-on healing in 1999, my meditation practice was daily, sometimes twice a day. And I started seeing and hearing all kind of different spirit world, you know. I didn't know what to call it. Sometimes some teachers will give me a name. Sometimes I didn't ask. Um, well, if it was Christ, yes. Mary, yes. Melchizedek, yes. Saint Germain, it was definitely a yes. But there were so many, and it was a distinctive tone of voice and sound and vibration that I could hear the same way I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So it started for 15 years with automatic writing, and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Who's talking?" That's when I wrote my book, Visions of Light: The Power of Letting Go. This guy, I wrote it down in 2006. It's all channel material because I felt I wanted to inspire people. How I got there through out of body experience, that was the first landmark for me to know that I'm more than this physical body. When I came back, I thought, okay, I need to talk about this. It's okay to talk about it and inspire other people, because some people think it's taboo and they might get scared, but it's not. It's a blessing. So I took a course of Akashic Records with a colleague from Healing Touch practitioner, Lauren Bond, sweetheart, and she says, I think you should know about this. You need to experience. And she was right. It was for me. I won't say it's for everybody. The same way that you have like an oracle reading or a tarot reading or a psychic reading or mediumship, each person has a divine gift, right?
Yeah.
The difference with the Akashic Records is you really have to be neutral. Your mind cannot play any games. You cannot allow even your interpretation to come in, that maybe you feel like it, but you are not allowed. So for instance, what is my divine purpose in this moment in time? If I was talking, I will say, well, I don't know you, Paul. You have so many gifts. You're doing so many wonderful things. And I know you probably also, I know your channel, but you have so many gifts. If I had per se the Akashic Records, the answer will be completely different. It's about what you're learning about this time in this present moment, something that perhaps it will make sense for you, but it wouldn't make sense to me. Does that make sense?
Yep. And that's the very first thing you learn when in mediumship is learn to walk away from this.
Yeah. Same
we
thing.
Can't second guess.
Same thing is, with Akashic Records, because you want to be pure channel. And I hear it's like I put my mind on hold and say, okay, stay there. Because the minute I do the prayer, I already hear all these voices. It's like you have a whole amphitheater of guides. Hey, hi, I want to talk to you. I need to talk with this person. And let's say you know a little bit about the subject. I cannot interfere. I mean, I have to read a question to a client. Actually, I give a handout to my clients 24 hours before. Take your time with the questions. They mark them. And once I go on, they just keep on going. And they're funny sometimes. Sometimes they're really funny, and I just don't get it what they're saying, but the client understands it,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful gift that is being given to so many people on earth, It's very accurate. It's not like look into the future and tell me what the future holds on for you. It's not exactly like that. It's just the whole purpose on there right now, right here, right? Have you ever had an Akashic Records reading, Paul?
What's that?
Have you had a reading with Akashic Records?
I have not specifically the Akashic. No. I've got that's on my bucket list.
Okay.
And the next one would be a past life regression, hypnosis type thing, tapping into that. I'm getting ready to do that actually with a local NLP, a local neuro-linguistic programmer.
I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, and some of it I already know. It's like through astral. Do a lot of astral projection, a lot of channeling, and kind of just go off and
right.
it's like, but now I want to get some more details.
I know. I did the whole weekend of past lives, a whole weekend, and it seemed incredible what shows up.
Yeah.
So let's see what shows up for you.
Now, as far as the now what for instance, for our listeners and viewers right now, if somebody, how would an individual know whether a reading with you through happening in the Akashic Records would benefit them? What would be a benefit to?
This is a very good question. First of all, I suggest, the viewers or somebody who is interested. My first question is, have you ever had any type of a reading? And that reason is why. If you have somebody who is new to spiritual work and they're not really understanding what they're going to receive, it won't be beneficial for them. For instance, if you have a card reading and it's showing you present, past, and future, something very simple, your health, your prosperity, relationship, whatever, because I do those too, and the person is satisfied, I let them dwell upon it and learn about it. If a person has more experience with different type of spiritual work, I don't want to use the word advanced, but I will say that they have had more experiences.
Yeah.
Then I will suggest an Akashic Records because this is the evolution of your soul on earth right now. That one show in an oracle card is more simple, it's still very valuable. It might show in a mediumship, like you're having a seance kind of talk, to spirit, and they answer back. But this is just more personal with you. The language is very different, and they dwell upon stuff that maybe I have no idea, but they will say, well, because of this and that, they might go back to a past life. They might go back to some information that the only person who will benefit is the person who's asking the questions. Does that make sense? Anybody will benefit, because you're going to go, okay, what am I supposed to be doing with my life right now? And maybe it will show another very beautiful part of you that you don't know about yourself. Because our souls go back and reincarnate for eons of lifetimes.
Yeah.
Most of us.
Seems like it seems like a lot of the people that I talk to that are, I wouldn't say new into seeking guidance, spiritual guidance from, a tarot reader or a channel. The first thing that a lot of people that I've talked to is, well, I need a second opinion. Because internally they know exactly what they want. They know what their instinct, their soul is telling them what to do. Yeah. But it's like they're going to a doctor for a second opinion.
Right. Well, some people are religious. It will influence, like, no, I don't want to hear it. Some people are very curious and say, well, I don't know. I need to learn about that. And some people are very passionate. I will say everybody can benefit from a reading, any type of reading.
Yeah.
But don't let your mind play games because there's nothing to fear. You are a divine being, so advanced in our souls. I mean, we know such very little about who we really are and our potential, and we take it for granted. All souls came divinely guided to this planet. Whatever choices they made or agreements that they had with the Creator before they came in, that's whatever they chose. So some people say, well, I have bad luck. What about me? I don't believe in this. This is all nonsense. It is not, because every person has a soul. You cannot deny that you came to this planet with a soul. And that soul has a lot of things to work and to learn and to enjoy and to grieve and whatever emotions we go through. Everybody has to go with all kind of emotions. And Akashic Records, there's no emotions, it's just information.
Yeah.
It's not meant to trigger something that it will be fearful on you or a delicate matter. They don't go into intimacy. Oh my God, they're going to know what happened to me whenever. doesn't work like that. It's something that is very, very divine, and it's beautiful, and it's very acute. You will get information about you. So
Yeah.
why not try to learn more about yourself? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Looks like we got Joe Valachi said good stuff.
Good stuff. Hi,
Good
Joe.
stuff.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Awesome.
We've also, like, I was always told this, even spirits always told me this too, but it's always told that we know everything that we need to know. Everything that we need to know, we already know. It's not like, you come in the world and you've already got an owner's manual. How do we work this machine we call the body? But
Right.
I mean, we already know everything that we need to know in order to live life. But we get caught up in this thing called the human experience,
Yeah.
that we get pulled away from this being, this spiritual being, and have to play. We're forced to play this part in this movie around us, and we get caught in it, and we forget how to step out of it and go back into source. And that seems to be the that seems to be my consensus of things. But
You're totally right. There's choices and agreements that we make. Choices is the intellect that is going to say, oh, today I'm going to work. Okay, today I'm going to ride a bicycle or whatever you want to do. Today I'm going to do my yoga. Okay, that's your mind, your intellect saying, okay, that feels good. I'm going to do that. But the agreements, it is said that, and I do believe in this, when we cross over from this realm, the spirit has a role. And let's say you see this beautiful image like a movie, or, oh, I did all of this in Earth. So what went wrong or what went bad doesn't exist. There's no good, bad. It's just an experience. But the choices you make as a person. But if you don't give yourself an opportunity to remember that you came with an agreement, the yogis call it the veil, that you have to remove this one, remove this veil, and just go inside to really feel the real you.
yeah,
There's a lot of misconception about spiritualism and stuff because perhaps somebody had not a good experience and then they label it, but that's ego. Perhaps there's something for you to find out. A lot of people say that when you turn 40, of course before, but when you're 40, there comes a shift of consciousness. What am I doing with my life? Did I grow up? What is it, spiritual life that I want to manage and create for myself? And to tell you the truth, that awareness is very sensitive. It's a sensitive topic because you could be aware of things, but you have to make the right decisions. Not toxic people, not toxic situations. For you to purify this vessel, this body, you have to work at it. That's why yoga, martial arts, meditation, it's like the food of the soul. You have to feed your body energy and let it breathe through energy. Does that make sense? If you are toxic and very heavy, I don't mean weight. I'm talking that you are not taking care of it. You're not walking on, you're not going to nature. You're not going to the beach. Basic stuff. I'm not saying anything complicated. If you don't quiet all the exterior noise, you won't be able to tap. And my joy with people is that people can tap into this amazing connection with spirit. Does that make sense?
yeah,
And imagine how blessed we are as human beings that we have a soul. We have the ability to tap into our aura, into astral projection, to go, to come back, and still this body hosts a spirit, right, Paul?
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now now for people who want to learn to do this,
Yeah.
who are like, okay, they're listening, they're like, yeah, it's easier said than done. I mean, I try to, and I've talked to a lot of people, I can't meditate. I can't get to that state of consciousness. Now, for people to contact you through your website or email or whatnot, do you offer classes to assist people into meditation?
I can. I mean, I work as a mentor, a spiritual mentor. You know, I can do one-on-one. I can do with a small group of people. Right now, the classes I'm offering at the website, it's a shamanic course, a mentorship course. I have Akashic Records readings, some other kind of oracle readings. But yeah, they can contact me, and I would love to teach people. With so many years of teaching meditation, it's a gift for me. It's very, very easy, and I love teaching people how to quiet that mind, how to get there. What are you feeling? The sensations and the emotions, to put them aside and then to really feel the real you, which is energy. It's cosmic energy flowing through you. So definitely people can contact me. We can do one-on-one. We can use different formats, like we can use WhatsApp. We can use a link, to connect with me. They can call me in person. I live right now in Naples, Florida. So anybody in Naples, come on, call me up.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Yeah.
And I always been, a motivator, and love sharing people these gifts. So yeah, different places.
And if anybody has a question, don't be afraid to call. You can call in. There's a live call-in line, 407-636-1157. If there's something very specific you want to ask Rina, please do call in or use the live chat. And we just got somebody else. We've got to bring it up there. Resident Vibe 1. What exactly is an Akashic reading?
Oh, nice question. Okay, so an Akashic record reading. I sit in front of you. I send you a lot of questions that you might feel inclined to know answers. So I give you a bunch of information. What's my soul family? What is blocking me from me? What aspects of myself needs to grow? What is it that I cannot see about myself? Just an example about the questions. So I open the record. I ask you for your name. I write it down. I do my prayer with your name, and all of a sudden I have many, many, many guides, because there's so many I cannot count them, assisting me. So I stay in the middle, and I read the question out loud, which this is different. Your question that you want to know, I read it out loud, and they answer. It's like AT&T to satellite to cosmic. Hi guys, to the cosmos. So I hear it in my head, and I get a visual, and then I respond. It's not me. I'm responding. They're talking. I'm just giving you the information. It's really fun, because the language and the way they speak is totally different. Totally that you can understand it. And it's really, really fun. And usually an Akashic record reading is an hour. So I ask the person, please don't drink caffeine, or please don't drink too much alcohol the day before, because it changes the vibration. I don't do it. You shouldn't do it before reading. And we do a consultation, before we talk on the phone, we talk on a live. And then I tell you, what do you feel these questions? I send them an email with the questions, and they can pay me very easy with Venmo, PayPal. And then we spend a whole hour visiting your soul, which is fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Does that help you?
Yeah. Thank you, Resident Vibe 1. Thank you for the question. I hope that answered.
Great question. It's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Now the ascended masters, there's so many of them. Saint Germain, Christ, Buddha. You've got so many of them. What What would be the main three that you mainly work with, or seem to always come in and always
Very
work with
good
you?
question. There's so many that I don't ask their names, but I work with Saint Germain. I work with Christ. I work with Buddha. I work with Mary, Melchizedek, um, El Moria, very ancient master. The rest, I have no idea of their names because I stopped asking,
Yeah.
Um, but those are the ones that I resonate with, that I've been, led to get more information. It's something very interesting. I don't know if the readers, people who are watching us, sorry,
Yeah.
not the readers, people who watch us, interesting to know. Like Christ was the Son of God, still Son of God, but it's also Lord Sananda, and it's also Joshua. So one beautiful divine energy has already three names with different energies. But also we have Saint Germain, who was also reincarnation like Christ. So many of these beautiful energies, not portraying like Catholicism or church or any of that. I'm talking the spiritual concept. You see, when I see them, these guides have almost bluish, purplish eyes. That's not human eyes. Very,
Yeah.
very bright. Many of them have like hair that looks like a golden fleece, kind of like this, but it's energy. So the pulsation, I'm talking about the pulsation of those beings, is like very, very unconditional love, very bright, very loving. And in human, we don't look like that as a human, but
Yeah.
the way I see them and the way I feel them, very, very ancient souls.
And I can vouch for the energy because when I was in Sarasota that time when about a month ago, seems like it's long ago. It's weird.
Right.
But when you were doing that meditation on that film shoot I was doing, I was sitting there, let the camera roll. I'm sitting there going into meditation, and suddenly I like walked out of my body. Something else came in, and it was like telling me, like it wanted to get out of the chair and just start like doing something. But my mind, my other self was like, no, 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 no. You got to man the camera. Take it easy.
That was a great experience. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I felt the love of Christ coming in. Yeah, and I felt that love. I felt that compassion, and
felt it.
it was overwhelming. It was like, whoa.
That's why it's so important for people to understand the depth of meditation. My intention in there, I was just letting the ascended masters talk through me, through all of
Yeah,
you. So we all became a one pulse of light, and it was so much energy in that room. It was like we felt that we were all connected, like when you chant the omnipresence of the divine creator. I felt it, you felt it. So it's really beautiful to provide that to people. We're
yeah.
going back to Sarasota 2013 in September. I'll be a keynote speaker. So come on again and have fun
Awesome.
with us.
Awesome.
So good
Yeah.
question, Paul. Definitely, we are energy beings having this human experience. What we see, hear, and feel is part of how we understand self as spirit. So it's very important to understand when we're doing a reading with cards, it's just info, super fun. But when we meditate and then we bring it to a reading, I spend a few minutes, with my clients, just being quiet, leading the guided meditation, because I want to make sure even before we get information, their vibration is there in the 5D, already in a higher realm, passing the angels, passing all of these energies. They're one with themselves. So then they feel more at ease. Does that make sense? So they
Yeah.
relax, and then it flows really beautifully. And I also record the reading. I use it in the phone, and then I send them the info, or if we do it live, whatever. There's many ways of doing it. Um, I find myself that we cannot do this in a collective. This is one of the things Akashic Records cannot be done in a group. Why? Because each name of the person is the signature of that soul.
Mm.
There's only one Paul with your name. There's only one Rina. And I cannot use my Ishwari, that is my Sanskrit name, that is beloved of the divine. It was given by Guru to me many years ago, and I always feel I get goosebumps, that's my true name.
Yeah.
My parents gave me Rina, God bless them, they're already in heaven. But Rina means happiness, which is good. But Ishwari is something so deeply resonates with who is Rina, truly. I
Yeah.
feel divinely guided with that. And I love my Ishwari name. I know it's kind of difficult to say because it's Sanskrit, so either way, I accept both as part of my divine.
Yeah. Yeah. That also begs the question, segue into when it comes to names. I would assume that doing an Akashic reading would be a way in order for someone to get this makes sense, their spirit name, that we all have a name, soul name, spirit name, our eternal name. Like Paul's just a label,
Right,
for this lifetime.
right.
But who are we really? What is our soul name? Is that something that an Akashic record or an Akashic reading
A very
can
good question.
avail?
To tell the truth, I have never had somebody asking about their name through the Akashic records. Probably something will come up. Um, but as a yogini, as a yoga instructor, I gave two of my good friends their Sanskrit name, and I had to really meditate until I heard it, and it was in Sanskrit, and it fit their personality and the message, what it represents. It was amazing. My friend Richard, his name is Nandi Das.
Ah.
Love it. Nandi Das, Nandi, happy. Yeah, and that's him.
Mm,
Richard,
wow.
my good friend here in Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
And the other yogi asked me, but it's something that it has to come through you. Probably on Akashic Records, if that's something that is important to the person, probably something will come out. Usually it's more like dwell upon a theme, and from that theme, they come up like 10 questions and then more questions and then until you feel complete. So I always ask, and I don't ask, oh, Win is asking, no, what do you want to know about, let's say, your soul purpose in this moment? Are you completing your divine purpose? What is it for you to see? That's kind of, the questions are general, but the answers are not. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And also, when you finish a reading, you feel very much at peace, for the person who's giving it. And I have to also, when you open the records, imagine that you're opening a tunnel of light to another dimension, right? Imagine something is coming in and something is still open. I also have to close the records. I cannot leave that open. I have to close it saying amen 3 times and so be it and thank you, Always you say thank you.
Yeah.
Because imagine that you open doorways in the universe, you don't know what could happen.
Mm.
So it's like your name is your zip code, your spiritual zip code. Hello, I'm gonna go to this destination, right? But that destination is non visible, but you still can feel it. So always you ask that the energy of God and protection for that person be available. And the same thing, when you're going to close the records, you always say thank you 3 times. You say thank you, amen. I like to say also namaste and so be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then you feel like a little bit in the zone, like after meditation, a little bit like dizzy. It's energy. You're moving energy.
Yeah. I'll get that during certain meditative, different states of meditation. If I get really deep into it, I remember I was trying to connect to the Pleiades, the Pleiadian, and I did what somebody suggested. They're like, they didn't tell me how, when, why, blah blah blah. I just like I did it right before I went to bed. I was already laying down, and I definitely didn't go to sleep yet. But lights, just turned the lights off, and I tapped my third eye, and I imagined a thread going out to the star system.
Yeah.
And I was asking for that connection. I was asking, this is so and so. I am trying to connect, and my intention, and suddenly, almost immediately, I went unconscious. I don't remember anything. It was just, and then I remember waking up, and I literally had no idea where I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. It was like an immediate amnesia. Woke up and I'm like, I didn't even know where I was. I mean, literally, I didn't know where in the heck am I? Who am I? Well, it was weird. And then it just took a little while, couple more, maybe 15, 20 seconds. And then suddenly everything started to come back to me. I'm like, oh, I'm in my bedroom. Okay. I went somewhere, but I still don't remember where I went. But apparently I teleported somewhere, and for some reason it was meant for me not to remember something. I don't know.
Now we're connected to Arcturians, to the Pleiades, to so many constellations, so many dimensions that is sometimes difficult to really understand, but this body is very heavy. Our energetic body is not heavy at all. It's like a breath, it's light. I remember I did some studies with Alton Camadon. He's no longer here, but with the Merkaba activation, and teletransportation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is same thing. You through breath activation and meditation, you're here, but you're not. And I ended up with the Pyramid of Giza, straight inside Pyramid of Giza. And I remember remembering, what am I doing here? But I knew where to go. I was a priestess, all kind of interesting stuff. And definitely, my face, my eyes always has been the same. So yeah, I had past lives, in Egypt with Isis and goddesses, and so interesting. Like you, I knew I was here, but I didn't remember. When I came back, I knew everything, but I don't remember how I got there.
Yeah. We got another question from Resident Vibe 1. He asks, I was under the understanding that the Akashic Records were only available when you're in spirit form. How is it possible to open this sacred volume while in human form?
Okay, very good question. In order to open any access to any spiritual stuff, you need to be in physical body. Because it is, remember, you have divine will and divine thought, and it is the intention with a prayer, the vibration that is sacred, that allows you to enter that sacred space. I hope that helps you a little bit.
And we also got to remember too that we are spirit. People keep forgetting that we are multi-dimensional beings existing simultaneously in many different dimensions. But we also got to remember that we are essentially spirit.
And I'll tell you something else. When we're asleep, maybe you don't remember your dreams, maybe you do. What do you think exactly happens where you're in a REM state and your eyes are blinking, you're totally out? You fly and you go out of body, astral body, and you have experiences, and then you come back. Maybe you remember it as a dream, or like, oh, I thought about it. And the next day, maybe you think about something. Spirit already gave you that information. Whether you remember or not, is still information within your cellular body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your astral body. I hope that helps you a little bit, but you need to be in physical form. When you cross over, we don't have this dense body. So what happens, and the reason I'm saying what happens is because I have been blessed with helping people cross over to the other side. And I have had visions of what happens and people coming back, through meditation and showing up that thank you for helping me to the other side. And there's always the tunnel of light. There's no doubt that there's something going on energetically. So I couldn't do an Akashic Records reading if I was already in my astral body out of death. This body doesn't work anymore. We need a connection with spirit. Perhaps, as we evolve spiritually, we will be able to, we still can, but not everybody. Let's put it like that. Everybody has the ability, but not everybody just kind of say, okay, today I go out of body and tomorrow I come back and I go to another planet, I come back. That's a little bit more complicated, know? I'm not saying that some people don't have other experiences with multi-dimensions. Let's leave it just multi-dimension is a good word. But you need to be blessed and thank you for your physical body in order to contact that.
Yeah. And then being able to, I would say have the gift, but you have to have that intention. You have to express that intention.
Yeah.
And tuning the instrument, the body, the physical body, being able to, we just can't just do it like, just.
No, you
like
have to prepare.
Mozart and Beethoven.
And you know what? Something, Paul, this is a good point. I will tell you. We as readers, as healers, as light workers, I cannot be a toxic person, to tell you the truth. I cannot do that for myself. I have to have, control over my desires, with my diet, with my exercise, with my meditation, with my yoga, because otherwise you want to keep this body light. Does that make sense? If, let's say, you have a headache, you cannot work with a headache. You have stomachache, you don't function. You have to be mindful. And all my life, I've been cleansing. I do cleanses and all kind of juicing and things, and that I take care of myself. All natural.
Yeah. Joe says, Joe Velacci says Ontology has always fascinated him.
Right. That's very cool.
But like you said too, being clean of I mean, when I had my ayahuasca experience, I wouldn't say experience, my retreat last year, a lot's changed since then. Slowly. I mean, some stuff has like immediate. I mean, I had to cleanse myself beforehand, but even afterwards, not even reduce. It's completely get rid of, the consumption of red meat and pork. And it's essentially the pescatarian diet. It's fish and fowl, vegetables. That's it. Clean. But I've also noticed too that I don't have the feeling to need alcohol. It's like literally, I don't even have the urge to drink.
Right.
I don't even want to drink it. Sometimes I'll have a sip of it.
It blocks your psyche a lot.
Yeah, and it does. Mother Ayahuasca does affect you spiritually, and it helps cleanse you.
Of course. Yeah. That's why those plants are sacred.
Yeah.
Because they're there to help you heal. And with a lot of people who have situations that they cannot help themselves, or they need a little help.
And I think the miracle story would be I'm not sure if anybody knows. He was that one comedian, Ron White. He was always on stage holding a glass of whiskey with a cigar and stuff like that, and he'd like appear like he's drunk. He had his ayahuasca experience, and literally he said he doesn't drink anymore. Gone, done. He's completely cleaned up. Now that's somebody that had a problem drinking.
Yeah.
But as we move into like tapping into doing like any Akashic readings and stuff like that, is now, like you said, you have to cleanse yourself. Please don't consume alcohol or any drugs up to about a day before.
Yeah.
Have you had any readings that you've done for anybody who they walk away and they get back with you later going, hey, I've found a change in my life. There's something I no longer have the need to consume drugs or alcohol or anything. Have you noticed any?
Not with that type of reading. With healing work, I will say healing work.
Yeah.
I will see a lot of addictions being gone away, mainly more of emotional situations, like depression, like headaches, like addictions with marijuana, easy stuff, yeah. Um, but through the energy and combination of I saw a lot of amazing miracles in my life.
Yeah.
With Akashic Records readings, no, I don't think we go. They go. It's like the masters will be laughing at the human, saying, "Oh, really? You want to ask me that? There's so much to ask me. You will ask me about, oh, am I high? No, it's a different mentality. It's a very good questions, but no, they want to guide you for you to do a change in your life that is really dramatical, that you will learn more about you, the stuff that maybe you never even thought about it and it's possible to know. So it's very subtle information, but very profound and very beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I have the questionnaire, because then the person can choose. Oh, I want to know about this, and they will answer about that. But the person who makes the choices is the person who's going to have the reading. That's why it's fascinating what comes up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it changes your life. It changes the way you feel. It changes and gives you value of that you're important, that you have the right to know about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now your book, the book that you got, like for you to do a quick intro. I wouldn't say introduction, but
Okay.
show the book, and then if anybody's interested in your book, they can go to your website, and it's on your website, right?
This is Visions of Light, the power of letting go.
There you go.
Spiritual evolution. I wrote this 2006, and it talks about how I overcame my own fears.
Yeah.
I had some fears and some stuff, and I went through a lot of stuff. And what happens when I got meditation really deep into science and I got out of body, and when I heard God, changed my whole life forever. I talk about more Mother Mary, about Christ consciousness. I talk about other masters, their exercises, meditation. I talk about the aura, the chakras, but it's like a book that you can just open like this in any page, and then you will go like, oh, what's the message for today, right?
Yeah.
And this little guy is gonna love my second book. This is called Pause of Love, and it's dedicated to the animal kingdom. I wrote this last year. I launched it in April of last year, and I feel it's very important because the animals have a soul too. And this little guy, Frenchie, his name was Rexy. He lived 13 years, and I
Wow.
talk about the afterlife. For Frenchie, it's like a lot. It's our second Frenchie, and this little guy who's sleeping somewhere in there is our third. Um, that's my boo over there. But Rexy used to work with me through hands-on healing. Every time we'll be at my office, and when we have to put him to sleep, actually, I went really deeply into grief. I won't say I was depressed, but I really, really sad. And so I'm talking about the 7 spiritual lessons of grieving to empowerment. And I saw his true self, not the doggy form, but the master. He showed me his form. And I talk about the afterlife. I have a lot of experiences, after when I went to Sedona. And you have to read that. If you love animals and you have suffered the loss of a little four-legged little guy in there, it's fantastic. It's really fun. All my books are in my website and in Amazon. So if you like them, please put some reviews. That will help other readers to read it. And I'm very excited to taking my time. Authors, people say, "Oh yeah, I wrote the book." No, no, no. Listen,
Mhm.
Visions of Light. It was 15 years of writing until I heard the guys. Oh, where is the book? So which book? Get down and
Yeah.
write. And also flow is also channeling. It's beautiful, but it's a fun story. You will
Oh,
love it.
I can relate to that because I say about 10 years ago was when I first started telling myself, I'm going to write a book. I'm still writing the book, but technically I haven't written it yet. It's all in here. It's like, I got to get it down on paper or on screen or written. It's just, yeah, it's wow.
You will know when is the right time, and then you won't stop until it's complete.
Oh, I
Because
know.
when
Yeah.
you do a spiritual book, that's what I am, a spiritual author. I am a spiritual person. Everything I do is really to raise consciousness to humanity. And if you take your valuable time for another person to feel something amazing, you're raising consciousness. That's why it's so valuable what you're doing in your program. In the radio, it's fantastic. We have to reach out to people to understand that. We could be just doing whatever, but the more we get in the vibration together as a whole, as human beings, we
Yeah.
unite, then we achieve a better planet, better friendship, better human beings. And on the records, imagine this is your best friends ready to talk to you. I mean, but from another realm. I mean, they're not human. They already did everything that we did as humans. And for them, it's just okay. Get back into self. What is it that you really want to know about yourself? Pay attention. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to wake us up. They're giving us hints. They give us hints all the time. It's just we don't know how to pay attention.
That's the
And
key. And you know what, Paul? I want to show to people out there, if you're new to also this book, I love this book. This is an amazing book. I don't know if you read it. Um, it's a must. It's the seven sacred flames. And it talks about sacred geometry, ascended masters. The pictures are beautiful. It has meditation. So for people out there trying to find a book, that say, well, I don't know even what's an ascended master. Who is this guy? What does it look like? This is a must.
yeah. What's the name of that one?
It's the seven sacred flames.
Okay. Seven
And I'm
sacred
going to
flames.
tell you who's the author because I need my reading glasses. Okay.
Seven. The number 7 is a very powerful
Oh,
number in
yeah.
my life.
Okay,
Very
can you see
powerful.
it better there?
Yeah.
The seven. There you go. Here.
Oh, okay. Yep. 7.
Yeah.
Yep. The 7 sacred flames. Wow. All right.
Yeah, it's powerful. Aurelia Louis Jones. Fantastic. I mean, if I can think of a book, look at the images.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
familiar with El Moria. It's one of my guides. Probably yours too. But the pictures, the images, the information, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of 7 is
7.
7 today is 7. It's the 7th month, the 11th day.
Right. And the 11th
Interestingly
is
enough. Now
it's the master number.
Now
That's
tell
what
me if this. Now tell me if this resonates with you.
Yeah.
Today being 7-Eleven, today I noticed at the beginning of the day I looked at my channel on YouTube and I had 711 subscribers
Oh my God!
on
Congratulations.
7-Eleven.
Yeah. It's just synchronicity. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. It's
yeah,
the
that's
universe
amazing.
saying, yeah, we're doing this. In numerology, I used to do a lot of charts with numerology. Numbers represents also have to do with your name, with your birth. But if you choose number 11, number 22, number 9, number 3, there's some specific numbers that really have a lot of energy and a lot of information, you know. So we picked a very good day today. I
Right?
really think so.
It was a divine.
Who are out there listening to us, I mean, really, thank you for, I mean, from my heart, for taking your time to be with Paul and myself, you know, asking your questions and being courageous just to step in and say, hey, I want to ask something, you know. And I'll tell you, I never knew I was, I don't want to call it mediumship. I'm kind of, but I don't want to call it like that. I'm just a channel. That's it.
Yeah.
I like the plain word channel because all of us have gifts, you know, like you hear, you see, you feel. But I want to tell you something for people out there who are trying to see if they're tapping in. Okay, number one, what is it to, are you in alignment with spirit? Okay, so you take a few deep breaths and you exhale, close your eyes, and just feel. Just notice your surroundings. Don't do anything, just pay attention. Okay. When you ask a question, this is basic stuff to tune in with yourself. Let's say, okay, do I have a spiritual guide? Basic question, right? If you might hear yes or no. And if you do, don't be don't think more about it. Just go like, oh, that's a sign. So it's just a simple sign. If you feel little tinglies in your hands, in your body, like, oh my God, little shivers, you might feel cold or hot. Guess what? You have guidance. So that means that all of us come with a bunch of spiritual guides who are around us all the time. But that's very valuable because if you do that, that means that you are beginning to take the time to yourself to understand that it's time for you to learn more about spiritual life. And there's so many ways, you know, you ask and you shall receive. So what's the question? Am I a spiritual being? Yes. Yes, you are. All of us are. So now you start tapping, you can getting some premonitions, you can start getting some information. And then more importantly, if there's a thought that comes to your mind and say, oh my God, I thought about this person or an event, or I should be in this place, follow it. Because that means you're being guided. Make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So that's very simple. You know, you can do baby steps or you can go and have an Akashic record reading and blow your mind. Go, whoa, what is this information? But for me, I feel that every person has to be where they are and ask questions. You know, if you want to know what's the best thing for you to learn, how do you, what is it your needs and your wants? And that's what you should ask me. What is it that you want? What is it that you need?
Yeah.
And then for me, it will be easier to say, well, let's see where you are at this moment, right?
Yeah.
You think, Paul? He's laughing.
Because, that's the thing is we are here for a reason. Wherever you are in your life, wherever we are in our life, there's a specific reason that we're there at that particular time. And in this continuous timeline, and time is everywhere. There's no such thing as time.
Yeah.
But you know, when we get frustrated, and I do that all the time, I'll get frustrated in the moment. I'll be in a particular moment and I'll just get frustrated. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? What? Why? Yeah. And you get frustrated, and then I go, wait a second. I'll stop. I'll think, and I'll ask questions. I'm like, because I'm not paying attention. That's why I'm frustrated. I'm not paying attention to the signs, the symbols, the hints. We have to be apprehensive of everything that's going on around us because you might forget to see something. We might miss something that will then lead us into that next direction of where we should be.
That's so right, Paul, because signs are everywhere. You could be walking and there's a number at the bulletin board or a sign next to your neighborhood and you go like, oh, what is that? And then you will see it again. And you turn on your phone, it's the same number. Then a license plate is the same number. And then you wake up and it's the same number. So those are little signs that spirit is telling you, hey, hello, pay attention. I want you to start noticing things.
And maybe after this broadcast, every after everybody, when we get off the air, because if I'm gonna say it now, I'll say it. So for those who don't know about the 11:11 thing or the 2:22 watching your clock, and you haven't noticed that, you might after this show. And if you do, send me a message.
Me too.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. And it comes and goes in spurts. Sometimes I can have a full week of 11:11, 11:11, 11, just day after day and day, all the time. And then suddenly it'll stop.
Yeah.
And it'll happen again.
It's a shift of energy. And something, valuable, just that you mentioned the numbers and stuff. Sometimes when you're doing a lot of, I would say, channeling or spiritual work, if you feel the need to rest, trust me, you need to rest.
Yeah.
Because that's another way of downloading information. Even though you didn't meditate it, but you say, okay, I need to take a nap. Guess what? Even if it's in the middle of the day, spirit is telling you you're overload of this body, you need to rest, and then you download a lot of information. Well, we call it downloads, where you're just sitting by doing nothing. Or one time I was even driving and I was getting a download of information, and I could hear and feel all this stuff, and I'm driving going, oh no, this is not a good time. Hello, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's because it put you almost out of your body. It makes you very sensitive. You don't react the same. You're like asleep, but you're awake. Very strange feeling.
Yeah.
You need to stop and go to your home. If you feel anything strange like that, just go to a place and sit down.
Yep.
That happened to you?
Yeah. Quite a few times.
Yeah.
Until I started getting, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll wrap up the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can continue on some other subjects and stuff on, doing some other shows and stuff on some of your other work. And,
That'll be fun.
and hope everybody enjoyed. And if for those who have been on listening and commenting, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And didn't get any callers, but still waiting. Every now and then I'll get one of those lucky people coming in and go, yeah, I need to say something. So, but Rina, it's been a pleasure have you on my show. Thank you very much. Namaste, my friend.
Namaste, Om Shanti, and peace to everybody out there. Thank you, Paul. Everybody, blessings and light and love. And thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless, my friend.
Thank you.
Everybody, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you again for watching Conscious Radio Network's podcast series, The Weekly Séance. Until next week.